everybody. I know this is a very random stream, but I wanted to talk about the amazing world of Gumball with you guys. So if you are here, let me know if you're here. If you are new here, let me know if you're new here. So yeah, very exciting. We got the trailer for the amazing world of Gumball. Well, as I should say, the wonderfully weird world of Gumball, since that's what it's been renamed to. I've done a ton of well, maybe not a ton of videos, but I did do two videos. I did my reaction to the trailer. Unfortunately, that trailer reaction got copyright claimed, so I will not be making any money from that, which sucks because that's the first reaction in a very long time that I've actually gotten more than 100 views on. So it sucks in that nature of things, but it's okay. So if you guys want to support me and all of that stuff, check out the news video I did following up on it. And yeah, so with that being said, let's get straight into the discussion. I am so hyped for Gumball to make its return. I love the show. I've watched the seasons so many times. It's one of my favorite shows. It's definitely up there as one of the best Cartoon Network shows of all time. A lot of great references, a lot of one-liners, a lot of references. The characters are just absolutely hilarious and funny, and just seeing them come back, it feels good. We got the announcement that Gumball was going to come back a few years ago, and we didn't know exactly when. We didn't know how they were going to do it. And from what we saw with the teaser trailer, it seems like they're going to keep doing the same thing they did before. It's like they really never left. Even though the joke in the trailer is like, okay, we've been asleep for like 6 years, but I think that's a bit of a joke. Well, 7 years rather. That's a bit of a joke of how long really it has been since Gumball has really debuted, right? I think it's been 7 years. Somebody can correct me down below if I'm wrong on that, but it feels good to see the boys back. They're sillier than ever. I can only imagine just how much craziness we're gonna see with this season, and especially with the episode titles, the descriptions. I mean, it just sounds like it's that Gumball goofiness and fun that we've known since the beginning, but they're really going to take it up a notch. Excuse me, I'm just rubbing my eye. So yeah, let's see. I'm gonna get to your guys' comments. I want to see what you guys are saying. I'm here. What's up, Freddie? What's up? What's up? I'm so happy that the show is back. It's been a long time since I've seen Gumball. Me too, my friend. I am super excited for the show to be back. I think that this season is going to reintroduce a lot of OG fans like us and also bring in new fans. So it's just a really cool opportunity to have people from new and old generations to kind of discover Gumball in the way that we were able to discover the characters in the world of Elmore and stuff like that. SMMG4, ha ha ha, Honcho! Oh, yeah, I love that reference. Love that reference. What's up, man? PSI Bob, you said my sister made me Gumball and Ais Darwin with a third pin a year ago. When I saw the season 7 teaser, I went to my room, found them, and I was so happy. That's awesome. That's awesome. Shout out to your sister for making that for you, and shout out to you for actually finding those. I know it's hard sometimes trying to find things that people have made for you or you have made. So really dope that you were able to find that. I think it's a perfect time for Gumball fans and just fans in general of the show to just be excited, be hyped for this. You know what I mean? We're scratching new territory, like legit scratching new territory. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see what all they do, especially with the ending, with the void, with Rob, all of that. All those loose ends that they have to tie up with this season, and just kind of moving forward, right? So I kind of want to ask you guys while we're here, everybody that's here, what are you looking forward to most in Gumball Season 7 or the Wonderfully Weird World of Gumball? They retitled it. What are you guys most excited for? Also, Freddie, you said, I like the new title, The Wonderfully Weird World of Gumball. I like it. Yeah, it is a mouthful to say the wonderfully weird world of Gumball. Just try saying that 3 times. It's a mouthful, but I like it because the clay, the balloons, all that they put into the logo is telling us we're gonna get a craziness of chaos with different animation styles. So maybe we may get an episode that's like claymation based. Maybe we get an episode where the characters are balloons, all these different crazy things, right? So that gets me excited in itself that we're going to potentially see all of this happening. So yeah, I'm with you there. I'm gonna miss the Amazing World of Gumball because that title was just so near and dear for a lot of years. But the wonderfully weird world of Gumball is definitely something I'm gonna have to get used to, and definitely gonna have to get used to saying because I'm still gonna be the person who says the Amazing World of Gumball instead of saying the wonderfully weird world of Gumball. So it's definitely gonna take me some time. I don't know about you guys, how you feel about that, but yeah, yeah, that was a mouthful there. So yeah, I want to know what you guys are most looking forward to. What characters do you want to see return? We have some new voice actors as well. New voice actor for Gumball, new voice actor for Darwin, new voice actor for Anais, and I'm sure there's going to be other characters that are going to have new voice actors as well as returning. Like obviously the voice of Nicole, voice of Richard, they're both returning, reprising their roles in the series. Like I said, I did a follow up video, news video, going over all of that. So if you guys want to know a little bit more information about all of that, definitely check it out. I also have a playlist down below. So if you guys want to know, you guys want to kind of go through an evolution of all of the videos that I've made up until this point of the teaser trailer, then feel free to do so because there's a lot of really interesting little tidbits in those videos, kind of leading up to this. You said, Bob, you said The Amazing World of Gumball to The Wonderfully Weird World of Gumball. The Wonderfully Weird World of Gumball sounds too silly. I definitely feel the same way. Again, it's a mouthful. Again, try saying that 3 times fast, and I promise it'll be difficult. The Wonderfully Weird World of Gumball. The Wonderfully Weird World of Gumball. The Wonderfully Weird World of Gumball. Well, maybe it isn't too bad, but maybe if you say it a little bit faster, it might be. But I definitely understand it. Did it really need a name change? I don't know, but I think, like I mentioned in my video, I think there's a bigger reason and a bigger purpose as to why they changed the name of the season or renamed the show. Um, so that's something we'll have to see. We'll have to find out. I think there's going to be a lot of crazy chaos that we're going to see with this season. The biggest mystery, and this is definitely a lore video that I do want to make. So if you guys want a lore video, stay tuned because I may potentially have a lore video talking about the void. Okay? And walk with me here. I want to try to build a timeline of the void to now. What's going on now? Are Gumball and Darwin in the void? Have they somehow escaped the void? There's a lot of questions about if they're in the void or not. I know that's been a big question popping up for a lot of people. So be on the lookout because doing a your boy might be doing a lore video on that or a theory video, a game theory. So stay tuned. Anthony, what's up, man? How you doing, buddy? By the way, saw Final Destination Bloodlines. It was okay. Awesome. I gotta try to go see Final Destination at some point. I just don't know when, but I know I'm going to go see it. I know I'm going to go see Mission Impossible this weekend with a group of friends again that I got to see Thunderbolts with. So I might do a review on Mission Impossible. We'll see. But yeah, jumping back into the wonderfully weird world of Gumball. Again, this is going to be something that I'm going to have to get used to saying, especially in videos, um, which I got plenty more videos coming on that. Again, theory videos, thoughts, and stuff like that. So how do you guys feel about it being moved to Hulu? I know there are some people online that were kind of joking about like, oh my god, Gumball's on Hulu. it's a part of Disney Plus now. Oh my God. But we kind of knew this was gonna happen because I mean HBO Max, the whole thing going on with HBO Max, it's just really saddening to see all the content that HBO Max had to offer from the beginning, with the joint venture of the streaming platform. It's now completely gone, just about, from HBO Max. So now Hulu, they've had to move Gumball to Hulu. They've had to move, a lot of the shows and stuff, animated shows. So don't be surprised when that regular show reboot comes out. Don't be surprised if that goes to Hulu as well, because it seems like that's what they're going to do. Now, if you live in other countries, it'll be on Cartoon Network International as well as on HBO Max. But here in the U.S., it's going to be on Hulu. So that's something to keep in mind, and also kind of keep in mind for other Cartoon Network shows as well that might be coming up on the scene. Um, there is another Cartoon Network show that's out right now that I definitely want to cover. I need to watch it. Uh, I don't know how to pronounce the name, and I wish my buddy Chillmonger was here because he knows the show I'm talking about because they just renewed that for a second season. I think either season 2 and 3, or yeah, season 2 and 3, and also a movie. They're going to be doing some kind of movie for that Cartoon Network show. Inayu, I think that's the name of it. Inayu. I'm sure you guys know the show I'm talking about. I heard it's really good. I've seen one episode of it, and I'm very impressed with the show. I definitely want to cover it because, besides Chillmonger, I don't really see many people covering that show much. So I definitely want to support as much as I can with that series. But yeah, Bobby said there's also a Spanish content creator that goes by the name Hero Sword. He claims that there is already a concept trailer for the Gumball movie. Really? I'm sure there is. Every movie has like someone who's made like a concept idea of certain movies before they come out. I'm sure you could go online and just type up, uh for my Marvel fans out there, any like Avengers Doomsday concept trailers. I'm sure there's plenty of them out there because people love to do that kind of content. So I wouldn't be surprised if there is one for the Gumball movie. I definitely hope that we get an update on that at the Annecy Festival, which is in June, by the way. So if you guys want to know exactly when, I have the date actually written down on my calendar here. So let me get my calendar. Yes, I do keep a calendar. I'm old school like that. I write down all the dates and stuff. So, for those of you who want to know when the Annecy Film Festival is, it's going to be on June 11th at 9 a.m. to not at 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Wednesday, June the 11th. Again, Wednesday, June the 11th, the Annecy Film Festival with the Cartoon Network panel, which they'll be talking about a lot of the upcoming movies and projects, not just Cartoon Network, Hanna-Barbera Studios Europe, which is where the Amazing World of Gumball, that's the studio that is up in part of that series. Cartoon Network Studios, obviously last year we got some info about the regular show reboot, regular show last tapes. We got some info about a new Adventure Time movie that's in the works, as well as some other Adventure Time spin-offs, Fiona and Cake season 2, which I'm still wondering if we're going to get season 2 of Fiona and Cake this year. I think they said that we were going to, but don't count me on that. But that's what I remember them saying in a post a while ago. I made a short about it. And probably some other things. If you guys check out my other video, I did one about a couple weeks ago about there being a new Looney Tunes movie, a new Tom and Jerry movie, a new Flintstones movie that's in the works. So we might possibly hear about that as well. So a lot of big projects and stuff coming up for Cartoon Network as well as Adult Swim. We're probably going to find out for my DC fans out there, DC Squad, My Adventures with Superman Season 3. I'm sure we'll probably hear some info on that, as well as some other shows on the Adult Swim side of things. So if you want to know more about that kind of content, subscribe over here because I got you. I'm going to be doing maybe like a ton of videos on each separate thing, and maybe one big giant video. Just all depends again. But I have some really good content coming up on the channel. So stay tuned. But yeah, I'll have to check out Hero Sword Bob. I'll have to check out his channel and stuff and see what he's up to. See what he's talking about. I'm always down to look at new channels and discover new channels. So awesome. But anyway, continuing on with Gumball, we did not see Anais in the trailer. We did not see anyone else really, just those two. So uh, let's theorize for a minute. Um, where do you guys think everyone is? Do you guys think just everybody has already like been awake all this time, and it's just Gumball and Darwin who have been asleep this whole time, or do you think that they're probably asleep in their own, respective rooms and whatnot? So for them, this is kind of like a, dang, we all went to sleep like this long, right? So, yeah, definitely let me know. I'd love to hear your theories, especially when it comes to the Void. I mean, there's so much to talk about with the Void because there's so little that we know about it. And I just wonder how far they're going to go. How far are they going to take the concept of the Void? Because we know that this is going to be a overarching concept throughout the season. And I don't know because Bob Beckett did say last year at Annecy that the Gumball movie was going to be specifically about the Void, but now that we're getting season 7, they may rework that. I remember him saying that. So the Gumball movie might be finishing the ties to the Void potentially. We'll have to see on that. I know there's like what 24 episodes for season 7, and then there's an additional other batch of episodes. So I wonder if they're going to coin the 24, 25 episodes that we're going to get for this batch as season 7, and then the other batch is season 8. I could potentially see them doing something like that. So again, it just all depends. Hey, Kai, you said I felt like the that trailer was an intro to the first episode of season 7. I could definitely see that being the case, really. Kind of just getting fans back into, hey, we're back. The boys are back. Gumball and Darwin are back for more crazy hijinks adventures, and let's just follow the world that they're in. And yeah, so definitely I definitely feel that way. I agree with you. I think that is going to be how we start off the episode. I mean, the first episode is titled The Burger, so we do know that. So there is a description. And like I said, if you guys haven't checked out that video, in the description, it does talk about an evil corporate fast food restaurant. So we're going to find out about that as far as what that is. Is it a Joyful Burger? Is it some other new, restaurant that's on the scene? That's something we'll have to see. Are we gonna get what's his name? You guys know who I'm talking about. He's like always. It doesn't matter where he is. He's always working somewhere. Like he's working at Joyful Burger. He's working at the grocery store. He's working at the DVD shop, which is one of my favorite episodes. The DVD, and that's like is it like I think that's like the first episode, right? I might be wrong on that, but I think that's like the first episode. And it's classic, right? It's classic. I grew up in that era, and I'm sure some of you might have grown up in that era of Blockbuster, Hollywood Video, Sam Goody, all of that good stuff, where you had to, you rented a movie, you had to return the movie, or you had to pay for it, or it was a late fee charge, or things like that. So that episode just kind of brings me back to my childhood, and I think I actually had an incident where I thought I legit lost a movie that I had to take back to Blockbuster, but luckily we found it. We took it back in time, and so we didn't have to worry about that. But that episode always cracks me up. Just them making the whole little fan alligators on the train. I think that's what it was because they were trying to do like a parody on snakes on a plane. So it was like alligators on a train, if I remember correctly. So it's those episodes, right? Those iconic episodes like that. The Golden Girls one is super funny. Um, the one where Gumball and Darwin like get buff all of a sudden, that's another one that is just hilarious to me. There's so many like episodes of the Amazing World of Gumball that I love. Like I could watch. There's like a couple shows that I could binge watch over and over and over again. And the Amazing World of Gumball is one of those for me. I've watched the Amazing World of Gumball so many times that uh I could probably recite a lot of the episodes because that's how many times I've watched it. Same with regular show. I've watched regular show so many times. I've watched Futurama so many times. Um, I'm actually binge watching Futurama again. I'm like on the latest season now, so it's been kind of fun going back and rewatching a lot of those classic shows that we grew up with and stuff. So shout out to them for coming back and potentially doing the thing again, just kind of bringing it to a new audience. But yeah, you were saying, let's see, you were saying, yeah, Larry, that's his name, Larry. Also, I was wondering if you knew who E. Slater is. I don't know who E. Slater is. I actually don't know. That name sounds familiar, but I don't know E. Slater. Okay, oh wow. Okay, I have seen his thumbnails before, but I haven't seen his videos. Okay, so I'm seeing something here. Did he make so he made like a concept of the Gumball movie trailer. Wow. 2.3 million views. That's wow, that's insane. I can only hope to get that many one day. So yeah, that's really cool. Shout out to East Slater for doing the thing, man. Sounds like that was a really talked about that was a talked about thing for a time too. So shout out to them. So yeah, while we're on the topic, do you guys have any favorite Gumball episodes? What are your favorite Gumball episodes? What's your favorite season of Gumball? What are your favorite characters? What characters do you want to see return? Uh, are there any ideas of new characters that you would like to see? I know there was a art that we got at Annecy last year, and it was like a potato, not a potato, but it was like a new character. It's like a circular, like clay looking character. I'm sure you guys seen the key art. You guys know what I'm talking about. So I think we are gonna see new characters within the new season. So it's gonna be interesting, like I said, just to see the old characters and new characters interact with each other and just the chaos in itself. I hope we get to see. I hope we get to see. Obviously, I feel like we're gonna see Miss Simeon again. Uh, obviously, we're gonna see the principal again. Obviously, I think we're gonna see a lot of Banana Joe because they mentioned in the description Banana Joe is trying to wear pants now, which is that's something in itself. Banana Joe. He's definitely a character, definitely a character. He's bananas. No pun intended. So, um, I have my buddy Carson. He said, "Nice thumbnail. Thank you, man. Appreciate it." My favorite episodes are the Wi-Fi and the one episode where the whole world turns into an RPG. I do I remember the Wi-Fi, and I do know the episode you're talking about that the whole world turns into an RPG. Was it titled The Game? I wonder if it was it titled The Game? Or was it titled The RPG? I'm sure it was titled. I know what episode you're talking about. I just don't know the name. Was it The Game? The Amazing World of Gumball. Okay, it might have been The Game actually. I think it was. Now I'm looking at it. There's also another episode, and I thought this was kind of an interesting one. If you guys remember, there was an episode of it didn't focus on like the Gumball family or anything like that. It was just like an episode of like a bunch of other characters. Like there is these two like guys who are like on like these little popsicle sticks and they're at a baseball game. And one guy is holding up trying to give the other guy popcorn, but he can't because his hands are up. And then there was like a part of the episode that focused on like these builders, like construction workers and stuff like that. I thought that was like a very interesting episode because that it gave you more insight to Elmore as a whole, just the characters and the characters even outside of Gumball and Darwin are even interesting because they're just weird and wacky. They're just really weird and wacky. I think the episode was called The Background. Let's see, The Background. I'm doing research right now. There's so many. I hope obviously they're continuing the trend of, the at the beginning of each episode. So I'm glad that they're doing that because that's a part of the stable. That's part of the stable right there. So I'm glad they're continuing that. Actually, matter of fact, we could go through all the season 7 title episode titles if you guys want, and we can kind of go through which ones uh, sound the most interesting to you guys, things like that. So let's look it up. The Amazing World of Gumball season 7 episode titles. Here we go. Episode titles. Okay. So the first episode we have The Burger. That one sounds like what we heard about, like an evil fast food corporation, which we have 26 episode titles. So again, I'm guessing that out of the 26 episodes, that's going to be season 7, and then like 27 to 40 is going to be season 8. That's my guess of as to how they're going to cut it up. I'm not sure. Uh, we got The Burger, The Assistant, The Distance, The Butts, The Thing, The Cheerleader, The Astrological, The Leader, the Letter, The App, The Traffic, The Boring, The Portrait, the 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 cancel the cancellation gration, the cancellation gration, whatever that is, the gut, the repression, the eagles, the trumpet, the speed run, the gourmet, the climb, the teacher, the summoning, the survivalist, the homework, the scooter, the proposal. I wish I had like the clip of Nice Pool from Deadpool Wolverine for that. Yeah, you guys really enjoyed when I did that in the video, and I was like, I knew you guys would get a kick out of that. For those who watch Deadpool Wolverine, for those who know, you know. So I'm glad you guys enjoyed that little reference there. But yeah, the burger, I mean, again, self-explanatory. It's gonna be something dealing with a fast food joint, maybe evil fast food joint, like we heard. The assistant. The assistant's an interesting one because this could really be anything. We did hear about Gumball's mom like dating an AI or potentially an AI falling in love with his mom. So could that be the assistant? Maybe. It could also be. I'm trying to think. The proposal could also be the proposal too. Really, in all fairness, the distance. That one's an interesting one. That could really be anything. Mark, what's up? What's up, man? We're talking about the wonderfully weird world of Gumball, or AKA the Amazing World of Gumball Season 7. We got the teaser trailer, as you guys know. I'm sure you know. So I want to know, what did you think of the teaser trailer? We're just going over the episode titles right now. Out of the 26 that we've gotten so far, just trying to put heads together about what the theories are. I mean, number 4 is the butts. I mean, that one just seems very like self-explanatory in itself. The cheerleader. So someone's gonna be a cheerleader. It'd be funny. I think Anais is gonna try to be a cheerleader, and it ends up being Gumball who's the cheerleader. I don't know why. I just feel like that would be something that they would do, and I could see Anais being being upset by that because she wanted to be a cheerleader, and it didn't work out, and Gumball ended up being the one who's a cheerleader. I don't know why. I see that happening. The astrological, the astrological. That's interesting. That could have something to do with the void. Because we don't know if the void is some kind of astronomical phenomenon. We don't know if it's an event that just breaks the entire canon of the show. We don't really know what's going on with that. So number seven could be an interesting one. The letter. I mean, the letter could be anything. Could be Gumball writing a letter to Penny, or uh, maybe he doesn't want her to see the letter, but she ends up liking the letter and laughing at it because Gumball, he's a goofball, right? So it could be something like that. The app, maybe the app is like, maybe the app is just some app that maybe Gumball and Darwin found that does something crazy, and they end up finding out like the app is actually more dangerous than they expect. Could be that. What do you guys? Let's see what you guys are saying as we're going through the theories. You said the portrait sounds the most interesting to me, since it could be the one about the painting made by Barbera, which shows the whole Watterson family in the void. You know what? You're on to something. You're on to something there. So again, number 12 might be an interesting one about the void. So you know what? I see that. I'm excited for season 7 of Gumball. Awesome, Mark. Are there any episodes? Uh, if you can pull up the episode titles, I don't know if you can. You might be on your phone. You might not be able to. But out of the episode titles, do you have like a prediction for one? Because we're just kind of going through that right now. The cheerleader could be Gumball and Darwin trying to be the team managers for the cheerleader squad. That can also be true. Maybe is Penny on the cheerleading squad? I believe she is, right? Yeah, yeah. I think Penny is a cheerleader. So maybe Gumball is trying to be a cheerleader, maybe get close to Penny. I could see that. My prediction episode of Gumball should be the magic. Well, we may not have the magic as an episode, but we have the summoning. So the summoning could kind of be what the magic is. Could the summoning be some kind of big void threat? That maybe Gumball and Darwin would have to face. Maybe, because I mean the next title after that is the survivalist, but I don't want to go too far because I kind of want to jump back in. So the boring. I could see the boring being just like a very like sidebar episode where Gumball and Darwin are just bored. They're bored. It doesn't matter what they do. It's just so boring to them. Everything is just so boring. They want something fun and exciting, and there's just nothing there. So I could see the boring being something, or it could be the opposite of boring. It could be very entertaining. Like there's a lot of crazy things going on in the boring. So it could be a flip on that. The portrait, like you said, shout out to Bob. You made a really good, interesting theory about the portrait of the Watterson family in the void. So I definitely, you saying that, I definitely see that as a potential. The cancellation gation. I think that's the title. It's a big word, right? What do you guys think that one is? I don't think it has anything to do with cancel culture, so don't think that. But I do think that the cancellation gation could be the AI episode there too, with his mom. So that could also be the possibility there. Then we have the gut. For some reason, I think of the gut, and I already think of Richard. It's something to do with Richard. Rather, he's eating more than he can really handle, and his gut is now the size of the couch or something. Like I could see that being a Richard themed episode, just kind of based off of, well, it's Richard. He's Richard's got to eat, man. He's got to eat. So, the repression. That's an interesting one too. The repression. I don't know about that one. So if you guys have any theories on the repression, let me know. The Eagles. I see the Eagles and I automatically think of the band, the Eagles. So I don't know what that one could be about. The trumpet, something to do with music, maybe. Maybe we get another song from Gumball and Darwin, since we know they do a lot of singing and stuff in the show. So maybe this is like a musical episode. We get another musical episode. I think that would be cool. The speed run. That's gonna be an interesting one too. I mean, speed runs are highly, popular in gaming culture. You can go on Twitch right now, and I'm sure someone's speed running Super Mario Brothers 2 or Pac-Man or someone's speed running some type of game right now. So, are we gonna see Gumball and Darwin speed run a game, or are we gonna see them speed run just a day in the life of what they do? That could be something there too. Just them kind of, hey, if we can do all this in this amount of time, we can get the day off, or we don't really have to do much. We can just chill. So that could be something there. The speed run could also have something to do with the void. Maybe the void kind of takes time away. Maybe kind of speeds time up further. Maybe. So a lot of avenues that could go with the speed run. The gourmet. Obviously, the gourmet just sounds like a food episode, a food themed episode. Which Gumball has a when you really look back at it, Gumball has a lot of food themed episodes. But I mean, who doesn't love food, right? Food is the way to the soul. So I wonder what the gourmet is. I could see maybe the gourmet being like Gumball trying to take Penny out on this like fancy restaurant date, and it just goes completely wrong. So that could be it. The climb. Maybe they're trying the climb. Hmm. I could see a scenario where Gumball and Darwin are trying to climb to the moon. I don't know if they've done an episode like that. They've probably already been to the moon one of the episodes. Again, I'll have to rewatch all the episodes again. But I think they did. There was a part where they did mention something about the moon. I know they had the episode called The End, and it, Gumball and Darwin think it's like the end of the world, and the guy's like, "It's the end. The end is near," and it's just him saying like the end is near for like a cell, right? So they thought it was the end of the world as they knew it. They tried to do everything like Gumball got a perm and a mullet or whatever, and I think Darwin he tried to get like a girlfriend or something like that. Like so, it could be another episode where maybe it's like Gumball and Darwin going to climb into the moon or something. A lot of speculation for these titles. The teacher. Hmm. Maybe we get a new teacher for Gumball and Darwin. Maybe Miss Simeon is no longer going to be a teacher for now. Maybe something happened to her. Obviously, I think Miss Simeon will come back in the end of the episode, but maybe she wasn't able to make the class, so they got like a new substitute teacher for the time being until she comes back. The summoning, again, like I said, like the summoning, I think could be like another Void episode. Like you mentioned before, Mark, kind of similar to what you were saying, like a magic type episode. What's your thoughts on the character Showerhead from the episode The Singing? I thought Showerhead is like, I thought Showerhead as a character is like very, again, very up to standards to like Gumball's whole world, just these weird and obscure characters. I definitely think Showerhead is. I think we could see Showerhead again. I think we could see him, even down to like the puppets, right? Like we saw, like I think with the same crew in the episode with the puppets, and it's like, "Don't hug me, I'm scared," right? I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. Like, "Don't hug me, I'm scared." And we saw that episode. I think we could see that character again because we saw him. We saw, if you look at the logo, I believe it's either the A or the L. Let me actually look up the logo right now. But I think it's like the A or the L that's like has that same character kind of theme to it with just how they made it. The weirdo. The weirdo. I forgot that was an episode. The M. That's what it was. The M is like a the fuzzy character. Obviously there's like a balloon. There's actually like actually three balloons. And I don't know if you guys catched my video that I did with one of the artists, the 2D artist. She was holding a balloon of Gumball. So are we gonna get an episode where Gumball turns into a balloon potentially? And then we got clay. We got an actual gum, like actual gummy bear, but it's like a gummy as a bee. So maybe the gourmet is just them kind of turned into like gummy bears or something. I'm not too sure. Let's see. Low key, think the speed run is gonna be about the Gumball voice actor versus the dream drama. I mean, if they want to tackle that, I mean, I think that would be kind of funny. But I don't know. Do they want to go that route though? I mean, Gumball has made references to a ton of real life things before, so I wouldn't put it past them, and it's been really hilarious how they tackle it. So, you know what? You saying that, I could see that as a potential thing. So, I could see them referencing it, but I don't know if they would do it just due to the fact of the Gumball voice actor and that whole situation. I don't know about that situation. So you might have to fill me up to speed with that. I don't really know too much about it. The Eagles, Bobby said the Eagles could be something to do with a different school having a competition with Elmore School, which about which school is better since the Elmore School mascot is a duck. Hmm, that's a good theory. That's a good shout too. I didn't think about like a school rivalry. I automatically thought about the band the Eagles. So you know what? A rival school having the Eagles and Elmore being the Ducks. I see that. I see that. I think the survivalist is going to be a camping episode. Hmm. I could see that. I could see that. The survivalist, yeah. The homework just sounds very self-explanatory. Some kind of like homework project, maybe like a research project or something like that that they have to like complete. The scooter. Hmm. Maybe Gumball and Darwin found like a scooter somewhere, and the titles make it seem like these are going to be very basic episodes, but we know that's not going to be the case. This is Gumball here. Things are gonna, go this direction, then it's gonna go this direction and that direction and all these other crazy directions. So the scooter might be a crazy filled with lore episode with the void too. The proposal, again, it could potentially be that episode with Nicole and the AI that's falling in love with her. It could be that, but I'm not sure. Let's see what you guys are saying again. Gumball has the balls. That is true. Again, they have referenced a lot of crazy things before, some real life stuff. So you are true. They have done it before. So who knows? They may actually go even crazier this time. Just all depends. I think the proposal is going to be like the suggestion type instead of marrying. Okay, so maybe the proposal could be like, okay, Gumball and Darwin maybe sit down. Maybe there's actually a group of friends. Maybe the void has gotten so bad that they had to gather. Maybe the survivalist. Now I think about it. Maybe the survivalist could be an episode where Gumball and Darwin have to gather up the survivalist of the void. and maybe that's gonna be like an arc in itself throughout the end of the season. And like you said, like the proposal could be like, okay, what are we gonna do about the void? Is there anything we can do about the void? Are they gonna do something like that? I don't know, but it would be interesting if they did, because that would be like how many episodes in between that? So the survivalist, then we got the homework, the scooter, the proposal. Sometimes Gumball episodes they kind of connect with each other, and sometimes they don't. They're kind of like their own little adventure. So uh, maybe they do like 2 episodes skip. So the survivalist is maybe them trying to get everybody they can from the void, and then they skip like the 2 episodes. These are kind of like not filler episodes, but they're kind of like their own separate episodes. Then like the proposal could be them coming back together and saying like, okay, we need to do something about this void. Where's Rob? You know, anybody know what happened to Rob, that guy? The homework could be about that one homework assignment Anais made instead of Darwin, which made Darwin switch schools for a moment. Maybe the teachers found out that Anais made the homework, not Rocky. You got a lot of good theories, Bob. You got a lot of good theories and a lot of good takes that I honestly really do. I really could see that being a thing. I hope they mention the 2025 joke from season 2. I think they will. I think they will mention it because one thing I know about Gumball is that a lot of the references that are made are very memorable. Like people remember them all these years later, and I'm sure the cast and crew have been thinking about those references. They're like, okay, we got to put that joke in. We got to pull that joke in. We got to do that because that's gonna be something that the fans of the original show, when it aired, are like, wait a minute, I know that reference. I know that. So I think we're gonna see quite a few of those references from past seasons. Maybe they'll pull a regular show and spend the entire season in another place. Well, Dons, I may have a video that I'm gonna work on. I might actually work on it this week. If not this week, next week, about the void. I have the theory that Gumball and Darwin and the rest of the crew, I think they're already in the void. That's my theory. I think they're already in the void. I think whatever has already happened in terms of the void, and I think we're gonna see them live, everybody live vicariously through it. So stay tuned, because I think I may dissect some things that maybe we missed from the past seasons that maybe could give us a clue about the timeline of the series. But them spend doing a regular show kind of like the final season where they're in space. I could see them maybe doing that for Gumball, but instead of space, it's the void. Well, technically, we really don't know if the void is space. It could be space. It could be something else. Uh, like I said, we're gonna learn about the void, throughout the season. So we're gonna find out about what exactly the void is. What are the implications of the void? Is there a way to prevent the void from, spreading throughout? Is it something that you can't control? That's definitely a lot of questions that I'm sure are going to get answered throughout. Mr. President, you'll have the pineapple on your desk by the year 2025. That's kind of crazy, them saying that and then seeing. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. Remember the factory episode from Gumball? Yes, I do remember. I do remember the factory episode. I do. I do think there. I do. Let me see the factory. I don't remember what episode that was. I do remember that one. I do remember the factory. I just got to remember what exactly happened. Because again, there were so many episodes of the Amazing World of Gumball. The show stayed on. when you really think about it, the show stayed on for like a while. A lot of episodes, a lot of seasons. Yeah, yeah. Okay, now I remember. Yeah. Seeing this picture of Gumball and Darwin here, yeah, I do remember the factory. That's actually pretty cool. That's actually a pretty cool shot right there. I bet that the traffic would be an episode like the parking one, where the Watterson family would be stuck in traffic for a reason, and Nicole being really mad about it. I couldn't come up with anything for the traffic, but seeing Nicole and knowing how she is, I wouldn't put it past her at all. I wouldn't put it past her at all. Do you guys think we'll see any fight scenes with Nicole again? Because I mean, we got the really cool, anime fight with her. We got the other couple fights that we've seen with her. Do you think we'll see something like that again? Someone who worked on the show said that the season finale of season 7 is going to be sad and the fans will love it. So I wonder what that will be. And will there be a season 8? Okay, someone said that. Do you know where I can find the particular person who said that? I definitely would be like to look further into that for a video actually. That might be a video in itself. What would the ending be? And kind of like my prediction on what the ending could be. So now that you said that the finale is gonna be sad, but fans are gonna love it, is someone gonna is someone I'm gonna hold my thoughts. I'm gonna hold my thoughts. I got a lot of theories as to what could happen, so again, stay tuned. The traffic is a gonna be Elmore stuck. Defo gonna be Elmore stuck in traffic with different point of views of everyone. Yeah, sort of like they did before, like with the episode with the characters, the background characters, right? Because they do a lot of episode. They've done a couple episodes like that too. Again, like the one that I mentioned earlier about the guys with on the popsicle sticks and they're at the baseball game and one guy's like, "Hey, dude, I got you some popcorn," and he just drops the popcorn on the guy. He's like, "Well, I can't grab it. My hands are up." So I definitely see them potentially doing like another episode like that. The big question is, where's Rob? Where the heck is he? Because I mean, we saw what happened to him. We saw he got pulled through the void. He fell, and that was it. So we need to know what happened with that whole thing. I'll comment it on your video tomorrow because no way I'll find it now. Yeah, for sure. Definitely comment on the video. Like, uh, comment as much as you want. Really, like I'm enticing people. Like, comment as much as you want. Like, I like tell me about the favorite episodes, all that. Like, obviously engagement. It helps with engagement. Yes, it helps with engagement. But like, I just want to like have these discussions with you guys because I can tell you guys like are enjoying like you guys from what I've seen from the reaction, which again is a bummer because Warner Brothers on they're on their timing right now where they don't want to support content creators. Because let's be honest, right? Like let's be honest for a second. Did some of you? I'm sure some of you probably knew the teaser trailer was out for the Amazing World of Gumball through word of mouth. But I'm sure there's probably people who didn't know about it being out until they saw like my video or other videos, other content creators like covering the season. So with that in mind, like you would think that Warner Brothers would be like, "Hey, this guy, these content creators, they're covering our product, they're covering our show. Let's let them, make their due because they're helping us. But no, Warner Brothers is like, nah, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna let you. We're gonna take. We appreciate you promoting our show, but we're gonna take all your funds. We're gonna take all your funds. That's all ours. Thank you, and um, you have a good day. Good day. Um, that's what it seems from Warner Brothers. I could be wrong. I don't know anybody that works at Warner Brothers, nor do I know how the business venture works over there. But you know, this isn't the first time Warner Brothers has claimed me for something. They claimed me for the Superman trailer, but they claimed just about everybody, I'm sure, for the Superman trailer. I'm sure they claimed people for this Gumball reaction too, so I'm sure there's people that didn't even make any money off of this unless they did a follow up video. Thank goodness I did that follow up video because if not, then uh, that video just would have been null and void. Not saying that I wouldn't have done it, but it definitely would have been null and void. No pun intended. Um, and it wouldn't have got any residuals from that. So, yeah, I would not hope for a season 8 since the creator of the Amazing World of Gumball, Ben, said he wanted to end the series with a single movie after season 6. Interesting. Interesting. So if season 7 is the final hurrah, then that means they are gonna do all 40 episodes. So all 40 of the episodes they're gonna release. That's my guess, and that'll be season 7. We still don't know the remaining titles for those episodes, so hopefully those can come out so that way we know the remaining titles. And if so, I'll definitely do a video talking about the remaining titles and just going through all the titles as a whole. I think would be kind of good. But yeah, if that's the case, I'm perfectly fine with it. I think the Amazing World of Gumball has, been an amazing, no pun intended again, has been a amazing experience, and it did something completely unique and different that we hadn't seen before. Mixing these 2D, 3D, all types of crazy animation elements, as well as these obscure characters, crazy pop culture references, uh, references to things in real life that actually happen. That is kind of like, wow, I can't believe they actually referenced that. And I think looking back at this, that was that era of Cartoon Network where I feel like Cartoon Network was its most experimental. Not to say that, the early eras of Cartoon Network were experimental, because obviously they were. Like, we had the Powerpuff Girls, Johnny Bravo, Dexter's Laboratory, Courage the Cowardly Dog, all those shows, right? So Cartoon Network was definitely experimental. But I think Cartoon Network kind of hit a little bit of a low point at some point, like around 2007, 2008. You had shows like, Class 3000, Jupiter Lee, uh, things like that, but it just wasn't like what it was before. And then Cartoon Network for a time started going the live action route. And that was a whole thing in itself. The Annoying Orange, oh my god, I hate that show. The Annoying Orange, Incredible Crew, all that stuff they tried going into the live action sector didn't work out for them. So they went back into that experimental phase. We got Adventure Time, regular show, The Amazing World of Gumball, We Bear Bears, Clarence, Uncle Grandpa, all that stuff. I feel like that's where Cartoon Network was kind of starting to come back into their like experimental phase, you know. So right now, Cartoon Network is kind of like in this place of uncertainty. I know people like to throw around the idea, oh, Cartoon Network's dead. Cartoon Network's not what it used to be. And really, if you really look back at all the eras, no era of Cartoon Network is really the same. Like, there's been different things, different ideas, different genres of each era of Cartoon Network, and I think that's what makes it so unique is the fact that there's so many different eras. You can't look at the early 2000s and say like, oh, it's the same as, you know, it's not the same as the 2010 era of Cartoon Network. You can't say like the live action era is the same as like the current day Cartoon Network era because it's not. It's different for many different reasons, and that's why like I appreciate it, and I understand people's concern about Cartoon Network, especially with just how things have been going with HBO, HBO Max, shows getting removed left and right, shows getting axed, like Final Space, Close Enough, Infinity Train, all those shows. Like I understand. Like I feel the frustration. I'm with you. You know, I loved Close Enough, Final Space, Infinity Train. I love those shows. And then when they decide like, hey, we're gonna axe these shows off for a tax write off. I'm like, okay, you axe these shows off, but the people were watching these shows. People enjoyed these shows. There was a fan base created around these shows. It may not have been the biggest fan base in the world, but there was a fan base created around them. And it sucks that so many dedicated and talented creators have created these shows. J.G. Quintel, Olan Rogers, all of these creators have created these masterpieces, these stories, and they never got to see the full potential. And it's just really disappointing that a network like Cartoon Network, which in my opinion has always been about doing obscure, unique takes and ideas that other networks weren't doing at the time, and that's what made them so big and popular to the point where they literally invaded Nickelodeon. They literally invaded Nickelodeon at a time. So when you have a company like that was brought up on Dexter's Laboratory, Powerpuff Girls, Johnny Bravo, Space Ghost Coast to Coast, all these shows, and then you look at it now and it's like there's only a few shows that people may go to, but now it's sort of like we're going back to Amazing World of Gumball, we're going back to regular show, we're going back to Adventure Time. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if they end up rebooting. I mean, they kind of have a spin-off series with We Bear Bears, but I wouldn't be surprised if they bring back We Bear Bears grown up again. You know what I mean? So it's just that I feel like Cartoon Network is just they need new fresh ideas. And that's why I think this would be the perfect time for them to introduce cartoons again. Bring that back. Bring back What a Cartoon. Give new creators, new artists the opportunity to show off creative, new, obscure ideas that could bring in a brand new era of Cartoon Network and just go back to that experimental phase. We're like, okay, we got this weird obscure show that's doing a mix of 2D and 3D animation over here with a cat and a fish. Let's do that. We got regular show that's not really regular show. It's a show about a bird and a raccoon that are friends and they get into all these crazy adventures. Let's screen like that. We got Adventure Time. We got a human kid, we got a dog, we have a princess, we have a vampire, we have Ice King. Let's bring that obscure idea, let's make that into a show. I think Cartoon Network just needs an era like that, and I think the show Inayu, I think is a really good step because Inayu takes an idea that is very interesting to those who love it that kind of Avatar way, the Airbender kind of thing. If you love that, I think you will love that show. And I just think Cartoon Network just needs to go into that bag again. You know, that's just my personal opinion on it. I don't know how you guys feel about it. But yeah, I'm getting to your guys' comment. I know that was like a mouthful, but I wanted to kind of state my thoughts and opinions on just Cartoon Network as a whole. And I love the network. It's had some ups, it's had some downs. What network hasn't? But I think Cartoon Network is one of the most iconic things of all time. If you could be in a conversation for hours with people just talking about the amount of shows that Cartoon Network has had air over the years, and it's a great conversation. It's always a great conversation. Same with Boomerang. I mean, Boomerang, I grew up with Boomerang, classic Boomerang, not the new Boomerang now, the classic one. Um, and just kind of having those like memories as well. And, the all white, black and white segment where they showed, Rubber Hose cartoons. They had an anime segment on Cartoon Network. Like, they did so much. There was like an 80s segment where they showed a lot of 80s action cartoons. Like, there was just so much from Cartoon Network that they've done, and I miss that mainstream juncture. I really do. I miss Cartoon Network being like a mainstream juncture. And when the whole thing about Cartoon Network dying and all of this stuff in the post that people were saying, like that tells me right then and there that people are still venturing into Cartoon Network, even as adults. People are still venturing into it. It's just that they're not in the loop of what's going on. So maybe they feel like Cartoon Network. Maybe they feel like personally, maybe if we go back to that old IP, maybe this is their way to kind of get people back in. And again, that's all fine and dandy if you want to, if the story calls for bringing back those IP from the past. But I think you also need to create new original ideas and stories that, again, show off your experimental phase. Again, this is the new era of Cartoon Network. We want to show that our young talent, there's a lot of amazing ideas from young talent today that I'm sure people will think 20 years from now. Man, do you remember that show that we had that came on all those years ago? That show was amazing. That show was dope. The same way, like right now, we're talking about Amazing World of Gumball all these years later. And like you said, Bob, the pilot was in 2008. When you really think about it, that's a long time ago. And people are still talking about the Amazing World of Gumball to this day. There's constant references on Twitter, online, the memes, the out of context videos, all that. Gumball is still relevant. And that's what I feel like Cartoon Network needs. They need new up and coming creators, or just even the creators, give them a chance to create shows and ideas that people will talk about, like Gumball, from years and years to come. But yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't want to preach. I didn't come on here to preach to y'all, but I wanted to get my thoughts out. I wanted to get my thoughts out. Let's see. The crew of Gumball works on 26 episodes at once, which is why we only know the first 26 of the season. Okay, I didn't know that. So I guess they're doing part one. So the first 26 episodes are part one, and then season 7, part two, or the other remaining 26, maybe? Mark, you said, which one do you prefer, OG Powerpuff Girls or 2016? OG. OG, OG, OG all day. I love OG Powerpuff Girls. I can watch OG Powerpuff Girls all day long. The 2016 one I don't like. They're not even the same characters, not even remotely at all. So it's very disappointing. I really wanted to like that show because it's the Powerpuff Girls, but I just didn't. So OG Powerpuff Girls all day, every day. I also don't like that the new season is going to be streaming on Hulu, since Hulu sub can't be bought in my country, Poland. So I have to watch the Polish Cartoon Network with our bad voice actors. Do you have? Let me ask you something, Bob. Do you guys have HBO Max over there? Because I know you can stream it on HBO Max, but like you said, like it's gone to streaming. So I do agree. Like I do feel like that is weird. Why do they have them? Like I feel like they should have the new season on not just Hulu, but also stream it on Cartoon Network. Broadcasting on Cartoon Network as well. Kind of like how Tiny Toons, which that's another, bummer in itself, Tiny Toons University, what happened with that. Like they had the season streaming and then they had premiered the episodes on Cartoon Network. You would think they would do the same thing with Gumball, but for some reason they're not. And I wonder again if it has to do with them removing Gumball off of Max and Hulu has it. So I don't know if Hulu has the rights. It seems like Hulu may have the rights to Gumball, so that's why it's there. but Warner Brothers, they still have like the ownership over it. So streaming rights for Hulu, but the ownership is probably still with Warner Brothers and Cartoon Network Studios and Hanna-Barbera Studios and all that. Hey, Kaden, what's up? Just joined. Got to where there's internet. All good, man. Welcome to the stream. We're just talking about different things. Oh yeah, the experimental Cartoon Network Problem Solvers was maybe the weirdest thing I remember seeing. Yeah, Problem Solvers. Uh, Talk about a sore for sore eyes. That was an eyesore, that show. My goodness. Have you watched the Gumball pilot? Yes, I have. I have watched that Gumball pilot many times. And it's so funny seeing the evolution of Gumball and Darwin. Because Gumball was literally like it reminded me so much of like you were a kid and you drew like the animals and stuff. Like it reminded me so much of something like a kid would draw growing up. And then to see now him with the oval eyes in the early seasons, and then his eyes became more circles and stuff like that. Will we get another evolution like that? Maybe. I did realize like in the thumbnail his hair is a little different. So uh are we gonna get a different hairstyle for Gumball? That'd be interesting. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see about that. But yeah, I have watched the pilot many times. There's a lot of great charm in that pilot. Didn't Boomerang rebrand to Cartoonito? No. I think Cartoonito is still in Cartoon Network, right? But it's like, you know how Nickelodeon in the mornings is like Nick Jr., right? So it seems like that's what they're doing. That's what they did with Cartoon Network. So in the morning, instead of it being just regular Cartoon Network like it used to be, it's Cartoonito with the preschool animated stuff and things like that. So that's what they did. I'm not a fan of that, to be honest. I wish Cartoonito was its own channel like Nick Jr. is. I guess it's still called Nick Jr. When I was growing up, it's called Noggin. I remember they rebranded to Nick Jr. and all that. So yeah. Same with Playhouse Disney. When I was growing up, it was Playhouse Disney. Now I think it's rebranded to Disney Junior. I think it rebranded to Disney Junior when my sister was born. She was born in 2011, so I think that was around the time I think they started rebranding that channel. So yeah, I think that's what it's called now. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've like went into cable TV. So we have HBO Max, but the new season won't stream there. Okay, interesting. That sucks. That really does suck because like, oh yo the Pirate Bay. It does seem like you might have to. You might have to take a. I'm not enticing it. I'm not advertising it. But you might have to take a little stroll, a little voyage on a pirate ship to get to your destination, to find the X that marks the spot, right? Again, I'm not enticing it. I'm not saying you should do it, but there's a voyage that I'm sure you could probably go on to get to that destination. But yeah, it sucks that you guys don't have like the new season over there. Like it won't stream over there. Like Gumball is one of the again. They say that Gumball is one of the most beloved Cartoon Network shows of all time, and it is. So you would think that they would want to stream it everywhere, because Gumball just doesn't have fans in the U.S. They have fans all over the world. So I don't understand that for the life of me either. I don't understand that. Hopefully they update that. Hopefully that changes so that way you can have it streamed over there. Don, she said, I think it's just messed up from sleeping for 7 years. Mine gets messed up from sleeping for 8 hours. Yeah, I remember sleeping for like a day. I actually slept for like a day, and I tell you, my sleep schedule was all messed up just because I slept for that one entire day. It's like I was waking up a lot earlier than I should. I was going to bed a lot later than I should, and it was a mess. So I can only imagine if they did sleep for 7 years. I can only imagine how messed up their schedule must be. Like they're waking up at night thinking it's the next day. They're waking up, at the daytime thinking it's nighttime. So yeah, I definitely understand that. Do you think they'll change the intro of each episode, the whole season? Like a variant like a variant intro for each episode. I could see them maybe changing up it a little bit, maybe including like some like void glitches. So maybe there might be some glitches that kind of indicate the void. Maybe each episode the void gets more and more involved with the intro as the episodes go on. I mean, they could do that. There's been shows that have done that before. So, I mean, that's a possibility, but I don't know if they'll. Well, I think we'll have to see on that, but I think it is possible that they might change the intro for each episode. Some people haven't actually seen the intro, crazy enough, because they don't really show it on TV like that. You wouldn't know that the Amazing World of Gumball had an intro, um, if you hadn't watched it on streaming. On streaming, if you watch it on Hulu or Max, then you knew that they had like an intro, but some people didn't. Same with the credits, right? And I think the credits music for the Amazing World Gumball is very soothing. It's very soothing. It's very goofy type music, but it's very soothing. So, and it's just funny, like looking at all the shows, right? Like Adventure Time, they have an intro. Amazing World of Gumball, they have an intro, but again, they didn't really show it much on TV. And then you just have regular show, just regular show with the fart noises. And that was it. That was the opening right there. But if you were lucky, you got to hear a little bit of the credits music from time to time with regular show. And then with certain episodes, they did like a special for regular show. You did hear that like that same music, but they remixed it for that particular episode. Like Exit 9B, right? One of my all-time favorite regular show episodes. I love Exit 9B. It's literally Infinity War. Like Avengers Infinity War. That's literally what that episode Exit 9B of regular show is. Like legit. So looks like promotion in my opinion. Yeah. Yeah. I think we'll get the same logo from before, like the rainbow, like obviously changes colors, but kind of like how they did it at the end of the teaser trailer. It'll have like the different letters with the different. Maybe for each episode, the letters are different, right? So maybe one episode is like a balloon, full on balloon themed episode. Then the next one is like a clay type logo. That would be kind of cool if they did something like that. But I don't know if they will. That again, that's something we'll have to see. But yeah, let's see. You guys have any other thoughts? Working. Well, I'm wondering if Gumball and Penny are still dating. I think so. I think Gumball and Penny are still dating like nothing ever happened. Maybe they'll address like you've been gone for 7 years. What happened? I mean that would be kind of a bummer if Gumball and Penny broke up because I actually like Gumball and Penny. I think I think they make a cool couple. Not to say I'm a shipper or anything like that, but if the ship if the ship is sailing, why not sail? Just let the ship sail, okay? Just let it go. Let it happen. Let them go on their voyage together, and just I don't know. Just let it be what it is. I hope they don't do that. I hope they don't break them up. Maybe like Penny's kind of like, okay, well, that's fine. Like she's just okay with it at this point. Like she knows Gumball. It goes through these crazy, wild, chaotic things. So she's just like, okay, that's fine. I'm glad you're here. I missed you. You know. I cried when I first watched the regular show finale. I want Gumball to do the same. You're not alone. I cried too. I cried. That regular show finale got me. Now I'll admit, I do think season 8 is not my favorite season of regular show. I won't say it's the weakest, but I definitely won't say it's my favorite either. But that finale, I got to give it to them. That really hit me to the core. Rest in peace, Pops, man. Rest in peace, Pops. It still hurts. It still hurts, and I've done many rewatches of regular show. It still hurts to this day. So that was a really good finale. It's gonna be interesting to see how they follow up with that with the regular show reboot. I feel like Pops is, though Pops may not be there, in person. I think he'll be there in spirit, and I think they're really gonna maybe dive even more into Pops because there's still a lot more about Pops that I think we could learn about with the reboot that we probably didn't learn about. I'd say because I think what I loved about that whole thing is them tying it back to the short J.G. Quintel did, The Naive Man of Lollyland. I think that's what it was called. I like how they tied everything back to that, and even with 2 a.m. and the PM, where it's like obviously that's like Benson and Mordecai, and they take some kind of weird pill and they end up turning into like the Blue Jay in a gumball machine. I think even then, I like seeing them tie things back to those like um, the like old stuff, like the early stages of regular show, so to speak. I think it would be really cool if Gumball did something like that. Tie us back to that pilot. Tie us back to that first ever, you know, 2008 short that we got of the characters. Maybe Gumball's like, dude, I look weird. Is that supposed to be me? And then like, Darwin's kind of looking at his like version of himself and he's kind of like, wait, I was always supposed to be a fish? Like them kind of questioning maybe their existence. That's something there. Like them just kind of questioning their existence for a bit. Of like, this is how it all started. How did I get from this to this? But yeah. I dropped my earphones on the ground. They fell in the box. I can't find the second one. I hate when that happens. That sucks. That's the worst when you have like a pair of headphones and you can't find the other little piece that goes on the headphone. I know how that is. Pain, absolute pain. I really, really stuff got weird after the mess when she said, "I'll think about forgiving you." Yeah, yeah. I think the Margaret stuff. I was just over it, and I'm not one of the people who are like, "Oh, Mordecai's a simp." He's a simp. Oh my god, he's unbearable. He's the worst character in the series. I'm not one of those people. I just think that Mordecai just needed to chill. He needed to chill. He needed to just kind of just work on himself. And that's really what it is to me. I don't think he's this cringe character. I don't think he's this like simp like people online made him seem. He's human. He's a blue jay with human emotions. And sometimes your emotions get the best of you. And sometimes when you're young, dumb, and stupid, you do young, dumb, and stupid things. And I think that's ultimately just what Mordecai was. He just did young, dumb, and stupid things. Rigby did young, dumb, and stupid things. All the characters did. But that's what makes these characters so interesting is you can relate to them. You can relate to Mordecai in heartbreaks and breakups and relationship problems. You can relate to Rigby, who, wanted to do more with his life. He wanted to graduate, but just didn't graduate. And then he went back to high school and graduated. You can relate to Benson, maybe having a boss like Benson who's, trying to be this like clear crystal person, but he's not because on the inside he's one of the most boring individuals, and he knows he has a boring life. You know what I mean? Skips, you know, him being immortal, right? Being immortal definitely has some downsides, I'm sure. So that's just what made all the characters just so interesting, in my opinion. So I don't really hate I don't really hate any of the characters. The only character I do not like is the cake Karen. If you know who I'm talking about, if you know the episode where Mordecai and Rigby are going to the bakery and they got to get a cake, and the Karen is there and she's like, "Oh, I've been waiting in this line for this long, and how dare they do this?" The cake Karen, she can get all the hate she deserves to get. Nobody likes the cake Karen. So she can definitely get it. Some of the villains, I mean, the villains as well. I think some of the villains in regular show are really good too. Obviously, there's been some just crazy ones, but I think to me, out of all the villains we've seen, I still think that the bears, the animatronics, I still think they're my favorite villains of regular show. I just think that whole Fuzzy Dice episode is just great. And it shocked me as a kid because we literally seen them like using guns and like legit real action that you think Cartoon Network wouldn't do at that time. Like they legit did it in the show. So that's what made, in my opinion, regular show go even up more for me is the fact that regular show wasn't afraid to go to those places. Um, so yeah, it's got to be the FNAF parody, animatronics. That's got to be the villain. My favorite villains of the show. The Hammer, I love the Hammer as well. I think that episode, Race Against the TV, that's one of my favorite regular show episodes. Them trying to beat the Hammer, everybody's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, right. You guys didn't get to the Hammer. There's no way you guys got to the Hammer." And then they see like, "Oh snap, you guys really did get to the Hammer," and obviously the Terror Tales of the Park, Halloween episodes, Chef's Kiss. Love the Halloween episodes in regular show. I wish they could do like a full on collection of just those episodes, because I would buy it. I know they have a whole complete like collection of all the seasons. I want to buy that at some point. I want to own it because I love regular show that much. Um, so that's a goal that I'm working towards. But yeah, I love the Terror Tales of the Parks episodes. So great. Um, but yeah, let's see what you guys are saying. I think the lost tapes the lost tapes should show Mordecai and Rigby after the final episode. I think we'll definitely see them. They did say we're gonna see returning characters as well as new characters. So we might have a new ensemble cast of characters as well as some of the OG characters. Fun fact: Darwin pilot version can be seen in the void background. Really? Do you know what episode? Dance, if you're still here, you found it. Awesome. I can't get it out. I got my earphone. It was under my bed. Oh, I'm glad you found it. Glad you found it. That's awesome. Master Moses Universe, what's up? Do you think they will ever show, or do you think they're ever going to show what the fridge was going to do at the end of the possession of season 7? Well, now that you bring up the fridge, one of the episodes is the gourmet. Could that be the gourmet episode? Is that going to be how they bring that back? Because there's quite a few like titles that do have to do with food. So it could be really either of those episode titles. Benson was always my favorite character, to be honest. Yeah, at first I just saw Benson as like, okay, he's this very strict jerk boss, okay. But then later on, when you learn a little bit more about Benson, you're kind of like, okay, this guy he means well. Benson means well. Now I will say, Benson, he stepped out of line. And in the excellent episode, he stepped out of line. He had no reason to say that about Rigby. Rigby was on his deathbed. He had no reason to say that. So Mordecai was justified in punching Benson in that moment. There was no reason for him to say that. I think even with the burgers, right? I think Benson was kind of out of line with the burgers because Mordecai Rigby legit did everything, right? And they man, that episode I was like, why, Benson? Why'd you do this, man? And to his point, he's like, I didn't think you guys were actually gonna do it, but at the same time, it's like you gotta have trust in them because they legit did what they were supposed to do. But hey, Benson grew, character development. The thing with Aubrey was very saddening. It sucked to find out that his girlfriend was a Russian spy, and there's a lot of twists and turns with that. You know, Thomas, Nicolo, right? I think that was his name, Nicolo. He was a spy, but so regular show always found ways to do twists on characters. Like I don't know, Thomas was definitely sus, but I didn't know like how suspect Thomas was until we got to that episode, got to those episodes. And it's like, okay, he was a spy this whole time. Interesting. That's why something seemed a little off with his character. My favorite character is Rigby. He is funny. Yeah, he is funny. He's very funny. Rigby's funny. Muscle Man is hilarious. High Five Ghost. Who else? Pops, Skips. I like all the characters really. Like I really I like I said, I really don't have a character from regular show that I dislike. Again, besides the Karen cake, the cake Karen, and some of the villains, they were just absolute like jerks. Some of them were over the top too, but it was like a 1980s 1990s, early 2000s over the top. And I watch a lot of those like old classic films, so I don't mind the over the top approach to some of the villains at all. I have a theory that the person from the Awesome Store is the creator of the Amazing World of Gumball. He has the notebook that changes the plot of Gumball, a remote that changes all SFX and Darwin. Hmm. There is definitely a creator of the world. So that's probably they're probably gonna have to find their way back to that person. Um, they're definitely gonna that person's definitely gonna come back into play for sure, especially with the void. Maybe they can try to rewrite the void. I don't know if that's a way of maybe taking the void down. But I do think they are gonna play some part into it. So, Master Moses Universe and Bob, you guys are definitely onto something there. It's either the Void or the rerun. Okay, so that's where the early Darwin design is. Okay, I'll have to rewatch that episode. You can see the original 3D model in the episode of the Void. Okay. No, the one where Richard ended up in the fridge from the Awesome Store for emotions. Yeah, I think that's what you were talking. Bob was talking about, kind of that thing. I think that will come back into play. I love Muscle Man. Yeah, Muscle Man, hilarious. I actually knew a guy from high school reminded me a little bit of Muscle Man, just kind of in the way he talked, but also just in the way he acted too. So shout out to all the Muscle Mans out there who like to play pranks on people and make a lot of jokes and stuff. Oh, you retracted your message. What were you gonna say, Kai? One thing I always hate about regular shows that there was so little High Five Ghost episodes. There's like two or three or something like that. Why couldn't they do more? I agree. I would like to dive into High Five Ghost past. Like that's something we didn't get to explore. Like if High Five Ghost has he always been a ghost? Did he die of some crazy cause and he, you know, became a ghost? I always wondered more about High Five Ghost. So I do agree. Like I think there was like only yeah, there's like only two or three episodes, and one of the episodes that I remember was him. Yeah, he was dating this girl. It was like a it's she was like a not how do I she's like an alternative style type girl. She had the short hair, the stuff like that. That was like one of the only High Five Ghost episodes I remember. Also Skips because he's immortal. Yeah, Skips, he's got a lot of knowledge. A very knowledgeable guy. I'm sure him being immortal, he's seen a lot of things in his days. The Awesome Store has to be a part of the Void. Definitely. Definitely. So I think like I said, Master Moses, Bob, and Kai, I think you guys are on to something there. I think you guys are on to something there. Also, but yeah, Skips was wise. He very wise, and I think Skips could play that role again with the reboot. He could be wise to a whole new, younger group of people working at the park. Maybe he could tell some stories of like, hey, I've been in this situation before. Don't ask me how I know, but trust me, I worked with some guys and it always seemed like there was a crazy adventure or some kind of crazy chaotic thing going on. So trust me, you're not the first to really do this. Off topic, but learning with Pibby is actually back, not joking. I don't know much about Learning with Pibby. I've heard about the show. I've seen clips of it, but I won't say like I'm too like fully invested into it. But I have heard there a long time ago that they wanted to do Learning with Pibby or they wanted to make Learning with Pibby into a show. I don't know if that's still gonna be the case. I know that was like a rumor going around like a year or two ago. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. One, the postcard, which is his love interest. Two, the one where he loses his memory. And there's like one more where it's his birthday. Two and a half. Yeah, the postcard. That's the one. That's the one I remember, the postcard. And three is high school pass. So had actually three and a half. Now I think about it, they never did. They never did mention how he died. I don't know if they would. Did they ever mention that high school episode how he passed? Was he always a ghost? Because again, like if they haven't elaborated on that, I think that would be good to elaborate on that on in the reboot. Kind of give us more in depth on High Five Ghost. Because I think High Five Ghost was definitely the least utilized character. Like he was there, but he just you didn't really feel he was there. You know what I mean? All the time. My favorite Gumball episode is the console because it's a love letter to the Final Fantasy games. Yeah, yeah, Final Fantasy games, um, the Dragon Ball references. Gumball made so many references. The Golden Girls as well, like so many like references. It is insane how much they did. Maybe he was born a ghost. That could also be true. Maybe he was just born as a ghost. He really wasn't like a human or anything like that. Not gonna lie, the last thing I heard about Learning with Pibby is that it's canceled. So in my opinion, I'd be really excited to see it as a show. It has a great concept and potential. I may have to look more into Learning with Pibby, but I don't know too much about it. Now, if you guys know my buddy Tony Animatd, maybe you guys have heard of Animatd before. He's done some videos on Learning with Pibby, and really good videos. Really good videos. A really good content creator out there. I know he's been taking a break. Um, I know he's gonna be returning. He's gonna be returning with some videos. So if there is some Learning with Pibby stuff, my boy Tony has got you covered on that because he's been talking about that for a good amount on his channel for sure. Still missed opportunity for an episode explaining it. I agree. So hopefully, like I said, hopefully with the reboot we do get like a High Five Ghost origin episode because they could definitely like tap into that. It was canceled by original creator but continued by Vega Studios. Called Learning with Pibby Armageddon. It's gonna be a 30-minute episode series with a movie. It's supported by the official cast or by the official Dodge Greenlee. Official creator Dodge Greenlee. Okay, so I definitely will have to do some research on that for sure. If you guys want me to talk about Learning with Pibby, I mean, I can. Like I said, I don't know that much about it, but if that's what you guys maybe want to potentially see, I can try to do some research, maybe watch some Learning with Pibby stuff, and we can kind of go from there. I feel bad for High Five Ghost. Pretty underrated. Like he was there, but not too many episodes about him. I agree. I agree. Like I said, hopefully that changes. Hopefully that changes with the reboot. I still, do still think Gumball and Darwin are going to Elmore Junior High. I do too. I don't think they're gonna be old, like too much older. I mean, I did think that they were gonna have them like be grown up until like maybe 15 or 16, but I don't know if that's gonna be the case now. I mean, they still could, but I don't know. Would they do a time skip like that? I mean, but then again, Darwin did say it's been 7 years, but 7 years in cartoons don't really mean too much. Because I mean, look at The Simpsons, right? The Simpsons are all the same, still the same age. Like, obviously, they've done some episodes where they've grown up the characters before. Like the recent episode they just did. I don't know if anybody is a Simpsons fan or watches like The Simpsons in this day and age, but they did an episode where it was like the Krusty, not the Krusty, but you guys know that the cat and mouse, this like Tom and Jerry, right? They did sort of something like that, but then they did like a transition to where it's like Bart, Lisa, Homer, they're all like older. So they do have episodes like that, but they never do like a full on like okay, they're all grown up now. No, like they always are the same age. I think Gumball and Darwin are just going to be the same age in the show. Itchy and Scratchy. There we go. Itchy and Scratchy. That's what I'm talking about. I hope a random character gets an episode in season 7, like Rainbow Octopus. I like his design, even though he's just a background character. I mean, like I said, I think with some of the episode titles, there is a potential that we could see like some background character episodes. So I do think it's possible. Do you think Richard is going to get a job and break reality again? I think he will. Maybe. Hold on. You kind of make me think about something. The assistant, the repression. Maybe the repression is about him getting a job. Richard getting a job, maybe. Yes, they go to Elmore still because the first episode is about Miss Simeon talking about how Joyful Burger is unhealthy. Yeah, that is true. So yeah, they're still going to be the same age. They won't age really. Plus the kids, they said they never age. Kids forever. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, cartoon logic. You have some cartoons that, you know, some of them age, some of them don't age. I think for Gumball and, Darwin, I don't think they're going to age at all, really. Before the wonderfully weird world of Gumball, something is telling me that it's going to be released in 2025. Now that we know it's true, something is telling me that it will be out in October. That's actually a good prediction. Um, because they've been saying like it's coming out this year. We don't know when. And we just got that teaser trailer for it. So I think we are gonna get a trailer, like an official trailer. If we got a teaser trailer for it, we're definitely gonna get an official trailer. And I think when the Annecy Film Festival comes next year, not next year, next month, it's gonna be June 11th. So the Cartoon Network panel is gonna be June 11th for those who may not know. The Cartoon Network Studios, Hanna-Barbera Studios Europe, and Warner Brothers Animation, they're gonna be at Annecy again this year in June. So I think there's a potential that we might get like the official trailer then, and then we get like a release date. So maybe it is like in September or October. You know, I definitely see it in the fall. So like September, October, I think would be a good time. I'm hoping for September too, because I mean, I think September is a good time for the show to come back, but also September is literally my birth month, and I think the Amazing World of Gumball coming back on September on my birth month would be a dope birthday present. I would very much like that. Don't know if they would do that, but I think that'd be cool. I think that'd be cool. So let's see what you guys are saying. It won't be a matter of time until I'm gonna butcher his name. I said it right in the video, but A and Hero get replaced too. Yeah, true, because I mean, if they haven't recorded all the episodes, then you know they're probably gonna get recasted again. Gumball and Darwin have gotten recast so many times. They've been played by so many, actors and voice actors over the years. Um, so if they don't continue the show, or if they do decide to, they'll probably get replaced too with newer actors. It's happened before, so it'll probably happen again. I think the assistant is going to be the AI assistant or something. Yeah, we did theorize that earlier too, like for the assistant episode, because we do know that Nicole is going to be having some kind of assistant, AI assistant. The thing could be a reference to the movie. Oh, that is a really interesting movie too. For those of you who haven't seen The Thing, go check it out. It's on like Amazon Prime. I don't know if you guys have Amazon Prime, but if you're into high like sci-fi horror type movies, I think you will like the thing. The soundtrack for the thing is also very good too. There's a track on there called Eternity. Love that track. Love that track. Oh, and by the way, the reason why Anais has a new voice actor is because her original one retired from acting and is trying to get into law school, so she's been busy trying to study for it. Oh, wow. That I did not know. Well, shout out to her for going to law school, trying to be a lawyer. I wish her all the best. Really do. I wish her all the best. She did phenomenal work with Anais, and I'm going to give faith to the new voice actress that she's going to do good as well. I think she's going to do good. So again, shout out to the OG voice actor for going to law school and trying to be a lawyer. So hopefully she can be a really good lawyer. Uh, Reference to my Daredevil people out there who watch Daredevil, you guys get it. I hope it comes before September before I go to school. I hope so too. I know, like, again, September is around the time where most people kind of go back to school. So, yeah, we'll see. I hope we get more funny Richard moments in season 7 because he is funny. Yeah, Richard Richard is hilarious. Say what you want about Richard. He's lazy. He eats a lot of food. He's very loud, but he's funny. He's like the the obnoxious kind of funny, but he's still funny at the same time. This is because at the job we kind of hinted at that he might get another one when he said, "Don't worry, I'll get another one." I mean, yeah, um, that's a possible. Like, there's so many. You guys are coming up with so many like cool, dope, interesting theories that I really didn't even think about. So you guys are kind of helping. We're kind of helping each other kind of piece together what this season could be about. So shout out to you guys, really. I think that nearly 7 year sentence Darwin says is just a joke about Warner Brothers Studios not working and releasing the show sooner. Yeah, yeah, that could always be like a little poke at them for that. Fred, what's up? What's up? Hello, did I miss something? By the way, a licensing site is saying it's coming by the end of the year. I don't know how reliable that is. Do you know what licensing site that is? If you don't mind me asking, if you don't mind me asking what site that is, um, because if that's the case, then I could probably tell you that that might just be a placeholder date. I know sometimes they put placeholder dates in because they don't really know when the show's gonna come out. Carrie has been recast as well. I read that on Wikipedia earlier. Okay, so yeah, they are recasting some of the other characters as well. So we're probably gonna find out what characters got recasted. It's not true they canceled that. Uh, what are you saying in reference to, Fed? I hope Larry's voice actor doesn't change. I would probably cry. I don't think Larry's voice actor will, simply because I think like Nicole and Richard, I think their voices are too iconic for them to just recast. So I think Larry will still have the same voice he's had. 10 out of 10 movie, go watch it. Yeah, definitely. The Thing, highly recommend watching The Thing. Highly recommend watching The Thing if you're into horror and sci-fi and all that good stuff. I actually made a Gumball Season 7 bingo card. Really? Well, that's dope. That's really dope. So, do you have like it on social media, or cuz I would be interested to see like the bingo card you have, what things you have on it. Cuz who knows, maybe that bingo card maybe you might actually have maybe you might actually have something there with that. I think Richard is pretty much a kid-friendly version of Peter Griffin. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, let's make a bingo card. We have to. I mean, I'd be down to do that for a stream idea. We could do like a bingo card and then I can do like a I can share that file for you guys, and if you guys want to print that bingo card off, I'd be down to do that. If that's what you guys want, we could do a stream like that. I hope that the movie can still happen. I hope that this time the show can have a proper finale for the movie to still happen. I hope so, and I have a feeling it will, just kind of based off of Bob Backlitt's comments about them. They were originally gonna have the movie focus in on the void, but then with season seven, that's what they're gonna be doing. So I think the movie's gonna be their way to kind of tie everything else up with the void. So maybe at the end of season seven, there's like an even bigger cliffhanger than what we got before, and that could be their way to make the Gumball movie a thing. And here's the thing, right? Warner Brothers. I don't know if anybody at Warner Brothers is watching the stream or maybe watching it on replay, but I think you need to do a theatrical movie for the Gumball movie. It needs to happen. These characters are too iconic. This story, you're trying to build up this big, grand story to kind of hit home with the series. It only does justice that you have it released in theaters, you know? And you would probably say, like, well, we don't know if this movie would be too marketable in theaters. Well, let me tell you something. The amount of kids, the amount of parents, the amount of generations who have watched Gumball, rather through YouTube, through out of context memes, through all that, right? People know who Gumball is. Like, all ages know the Amazing World of Gumball. But I think you doing a big theatrical release for the film to kind of give more of that discovery to older and newer generations would be a really big thing. And I think The Amazing World of Gumball is a marketable franchise. It's a marketable show that can be a theatrical release. I'm a believer in that. And I'm sure a lot of you in the chat feel the same way. So that I guess that's sort of like a call to action to say, like, Warner Brothers, let's make the Gumball movie a theatrical release. Let's do it. Why not? Let's make it happen. I heard that the movie got canceled, but I still hope it gets uncanceled and can still happen. Well, they didn't really cancel it per se. They just said that they're gonna be reworking the movie. So that the idea they originally had for the movie, they're gonna have to rework that. So now it's kind of just the Gumball movie's kind of like in a limbo state right now. So yeah, it's not canceled. IMDb site said, wait, Fed, you said, also, before I meant they deleted the fact of Carrie on Wikipedia. It's been edited by everybody. Yeah, well, Wikipedia, anybody from anywhere from any timeline can edit on Wikipedia and just change stuff completely. So never go by Wikipedia. If, some of the news sources have covered it, then that's probably where you're going to get a reliable source of it. But if it's not from Variety or Hollywood Reporter or Deadline or comicbook.com, and even sometimes you have to even watch those because they don't always put out accurate information. So if the creators or anyone who's worked on the show kind of say, like, hey, the Gumball movie's still in development, then it's still in development. It's not canceled, it's not canned, so just kind of take that in mind. And all the other stuff you may hear from other sources and stuff, take it with a grain of salt. Even with me, I don't always get everything right. So just take what I say with a grain of salt sometimes. Until a creator or someone who works on these projects can confirm it, then we can kind of say, like, okay, the movie's canceled, or okay, the movie's still happening, it's still in development, so we can go from there. But yeah, IMDb isn't really reliable because, again, it's like Wikipedia. Anyone could put anything on there, and it doesn't always mean that it's true. It's happened so many times with movies where someone could put down like so and so got casted for this part in a movie, and then you go see the movie and that person wasn't even considered for the movie at all. So also something to bear in mind. I don't know about you guys, but I still think there is a Gumball movie coming out. It'll be about what happens at the end of season 7. I think so too. I'm a strong believer in that. I think we're going to see it happen. It's just a matter of when. But yeah, next stream should be a bingo card. I mean, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. Yes, sir, Solomon. What's up, man? Do you think we will have more sus moments with Hot Dog Guy and Gumball? I think so, because they're very sus. Very sus though. When they get together, it's just very awkward. It's very awkward between those two. Are we talking about the Amazing World of Gumball returning? Because I'm excited. I don't know about y'all. Yeah, we're talking about it. I think all of us here can agree that it's exciting. I think it's an exciting time to see this series return. It's an exciting time to see, all everybody just getting excited. It's just been a blast. It really has. It's been a blast. So yeah, I watch Scream as a slasher horror during the day. Yeah, Scream is good. Shout out to Scream franchise. I'm a little hesitant about the newest Scream that they're working on. I think the previous Screams that we had were so good. I'm just a little worried about this one. Theater screaming what the what instead of chicken jockey would be dope. Yeah, imagine that. Even in itself, like imagine the amount of merch they could do for the Gumball movie as well. Like obviously they could do like the little McDonald's deals and stuff like that, but imagine like the Funko Pops, the T-shirts, the toys, the all that. They could really go all out with the Gumball movie because again, the Gumball isn't just a one country thing. Like Gumball is a character that people know and love all over the world. So they could really go all in on a theatrical release for the Gumball movie, and I'm really I'm really pitching for that to happen. I really want that to happen because I think that would be just an amazing experience. Okay, it's just on hold and in limbo. Yeah, it's just in limbo. It's just in limbo. And I agree that it needs to be in theaters too. If they want to go the extra mile, we might get big names like Jack Black, Chris Pratt, or The Rock or something. LOL, voicing the villain. I mean, hey, anything is possible. Anything is possible. Rather they want to get a big name celebrity in it, or just have somebody like I don't know, Mark Hamill, right? I think Mark Hamill voicing the villain would be kind of cool. He's voiced the Joker before, so if the Void is this kind of like, you know, if the Void is like this kind of like entity, right? I really think Mark Hamill would be good. Who else? Rob Paulson, I think would also be kind of cool. There's a lot of cool voice actors they could get to play the villain for that as well. Keith David. I think Keith David would play a dope villain for the Gumball movie. His voice and the way he's able to get your attention with his voice and stuff like that. If you've watched anything with Keith David in it, whether it's Final Space or Spawn the animated series, then you know who you know Keith David. You know the range and potential he has. Is the mayor of Elmore Clear's throat going to ruin the Waterson's life again? I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't. I feel like he probably will. He probably will. Fabian, what's up, man? What's up? Welcome to the stream. We're talking about Gumball. I want official Gumball merch shop to be back so bad. There isn't an official merch shop, so you can get some real plushies. You can scout on eBay. Yeah, I agree. Like I said, I agree. The potential of the Gumball movie, there's so much marketing that they could do. So much marketing that they could do with the Gumball movie. And like I said, like t-shirts, merch, all that stuff, people would buy that. You know, people would definitely buy that. So yeah. Or Kevin Michael Richardson, he definitely has that kind of voice too. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean, he's already played a Cartoon Network character before, you know? So if they want to go that route, they can, you know? Tomorrow is Wednesday, Council of Creators. Just email him, Chainsaw Reacts. I would. I'm gonna be busy tomorrow. I'm gonna be busy tomorrow, Parker. So I don't know about that. I know you really want me to get on there, and I will eventually at some point. But as it currently stands, I just don't have any plans to right now. That's all. What I want in the ending for the Gumball movie is Gumball and Darwin go through life. Gumball and Penny go through life and have children. I see that as a possibility. I do. I see that as a possibility. There's been so much concept. I remember seeing like concept. I don't know if you guys saw it, but there was so much fan art of what the Gumball series was gonna be like for season 7. It was like Gumball and Penny, and they had like all these kids and stuff. And I was like, I don't know if they're gonna do that right now. But I think we will see Gumball grown up and have kids maybe at the end of the Gumball movie. I think that would be a really sweet way to kind of like circle things back around. And hey, who knows? Maybe they'll do a potential spinoff with Gumball's kids. We get to see Gumball as a dad. I wonder what Gumball as a dad would be like, actually. So maybe that would be a kind of cool concept down the road. Night, not day. Yeah, like I said, I know you want me to join. I know you want me to be on there, but as it currently stands, I just don't have the time to do it. So I will at some point. It's just, there's a thing called The Amazing World of Gumball New Gen, which is a bunch of Gumball fans making fan art and a future timeline for the main characters. That might be what I've seen then. That's probably what I've seen. Because there was like a ghost. Darwin had like a ghost child and would carry and all that. So I was like, I was like, huh? But I was like, okay, that makes sense. Because, I mean, fish, ghost fish. That would make sense. So yeah. Do you know that Darwin's voice actor was in the Looney Tunes show? Was he? Wait a minute. Was he the one? Did he play Gossamer? Did he voice Gossamer in the Looney Tunes show? Okay, he did. Wow, he did. Who would have known? Who would have known? That's actually really cool. And if older Gumball were to happen, I honestly hope they get his first voice, Logan Groove, to reprise his role as him older, since Logan is personally my favorite Gumball voice. Yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool to get like all of them have grown up now. Like if you've seen pictures of the original voice cast, they're grown they're grown up now. So that would be a cool way to make things go back full circle with them. So yeah. Same thing for Darwin, I'd want yeah, his voice actor to voice him older and also reprise his role. Yeah, for sure. I think Gumball will be like his mother Nicole as a dad. Oh, okay. So you think he'll be the fighter. He will definitely fight her for his children, but his kids will definitely know not to mess with him because, you know, Gumball doesn't play as a dad. That'd be cool. But also be kind of funny if Gumball is like Richard. He's just he has a job. Like Gumball has a job, but he's just when he's not working, he's just very lazy. Until it comes up to his kids, and then he's like the best father in the world. It could be like a Homer kind of thing, Homer Simpson kind of thing. Although Homer Simpson's had some moments where he wasn't the best father, but you guys get the point. But yeah, I'm glad you guys came through. I'm really glad you guys came through. I'm enjoying having these discussion with you guys. We've theorized, we've talked about the episodes. You guys seem just as excited as I am, probably more excited than I am. I'm sure about Gumball returning. It was so good to see that teaser trailer. It was so awesome. Uh, I don't think anyone noticed in the wonderfully weird world of Gumball teaser, the video plays in Gumball's room, but in the thumbnail, Gumball and Darwin are screaming. I did realize that. I did realize that, and I actually have the screenshot for that thumbnail too. When does it come out? I got here late. Well, we don't have a release for it yet. We just know that it's coming out this year. That's all we know. We theorized earlier that it could come out in the fall time, like September, October possibly, but we don't know because they haven't set a release for it yet. Unless Hulu accidentally, leaks the release date for it. Which now thinking about it, Hulu does like to do a list of what's coming next for each month. So probably around that time, we'll probably find out like when exactly what month it's going to come out. So I'll check for the month of June, but I don't think it's going to come out in June because if it was, they would have said like it's coming out in June on June specific date in June. They didn't do that, so um, it might come out maybe like August, September, October around that time. Again, we'll have to see. I'm sure we'll get more information on it. What is the speedrun episode going to be about? We theorized about it earlier, and I forgot. I think it was Mark or what? It was Mark or Bob. I think it was Bob. Bob had a good theory as to what the speedrun episode, what they thought it was going to be. I thought it was just going to be like a parody of like an actual speed run like from a video game or something, and it still could be that. Reason I said that is because Gumball is strong and powerful like his mom. He'll fight for his kid's safety. Yeah, for sure, for sure. I definitely see that being a quality that he obtains like from his mom. I think the thumbnail is a screenshot from the episode. That's why. Yeah, for sure. So that's definitely like the first episode, maybe. It has to be the first episode. Kai, you said it's coming out in October in Korea, but we don't know when in the US. Interesting. Do you know where I can find that, Kai? Do you know where I can find that about it coming out in Korea in October? Because if it's come out in Korea in October, my guess is it might come out in September then. They might try to release it in the US like a month before in the US. So maybe September is a possibility. Right, and Gumball can also literally warp and break logic as seen in a few episodes. So he's a force to be reckoned with actually. Yeah, he is. Uh Gumball would be an impeccable fighter, as we've seen. Wasn't me. I made theories for the traffic, the portrait, and the eagle. So then it had to have been Mark then. What about UK? We don't know about the UK. We don't know anything about that. Um, all they've said so far is that Network International will be streaming it on the international channels. Um, in the US, it'll be streaming on Hulu. Still don't understand why they're not streaming it on, why they're not airing it on Cartoon Network simultaneously. I think they should do that because that gives more eyes to Cartoon Network. And for other countries, they didn't specifically say what other countries, but they said for just other countries that it'll be on HBO Max, which can we talk about that? Like, okay, so they started out with HBO Max. They changed it to Max because they felt like it wasn't kid friendly. Then they went back to HBO Max. You wanna know? That's millions of dollars on a name change. That was completely unnecessary. They wasted, I'm sure, millions of dollars just to change the name back to what it was before. It's like, what are we even doing? What are we even doing with that? It's so strange. Like that money could have been funded for another season of another show. But no, they say, "Oh, well, the Max name wasn't really hitting like we expected." Like, yeah, no, of course not, because when people think of Max, they think of just someone named Max, or there's someone's dog named Max, or Max and Ruby. I don't know. There's so many Max examples that you could name. No one's gonna automatically click the streaming platform Max until you say, "Oh, the streaming platform Max." But HBO Max, now people know, okay, HBO Max, the streaming platform. Now I know what you're talking about. So, a leaked message from Cartoon Network Korea. There's a picture showing the month release date. From what I remember, I wonder if I can find that. I'm sure I could probably find that somewhere. I'll definitely have to do some research, for sure. There's an actual screenshot, Cartoon Network Korea actually floating around on Reddit, where it said the content will release in October. Dubs for Gumball release in most languages at the same time. Okay. I'll check Reddit. Is on it so it seems like it might be on the Cartoon Network Reddit, which I legit was on the Cartoon Network Reddit uh before I like checked like did the stream, so I'll try to go through there and see what I can find. If I can find that screenshot, then I could probably maybe do a video on that, kind of maybe like a prediction as to when we could possibly see it. It seems like it might be same time, October, September. So if it's released in October in Korea and other countries as well, then it would make sense for it to be either October or September, around that same time frame. But yeah, if you have anyone else has any more questions or comments, type them down below, because I'm probably gonna end the stream. I'm surprised you guys came through. I appreciate everybody that came through. This definitely won't be the last time we talk about Gumball. I definitely will. What was it? Who was it? What was it? Let me go back. You guys were talking about like a bingo stream about. Uh oh, Dante, you were talking about a bingo stream for Gumball season 7. We could potentially do that. I don't know when, because I have other stream ideas planned on other topics, but I'm sure we can try to do something. I might stream tomorrow, but it's not going to be Gumball related. It's going to be something entirely different. But if you like my streams in general, you like the content, why not? Come through. we talk about other things on the side too, so it's not just a full in on the topic. Sometimes we kind of veer off into different things. It's just it's what we do. So if you guys like enjoyed the stream, you guys like talking about Gumball, I'm sure we'll talk more about it there tomorrow as well. It's a hot topic, so I want to try to get uh, as much movement with that as possible, as much eyes and things like that, and more conversations. Do you think Granny JoJo will be more involved in the family? Maybe, maybe. I think there could be a story told. There could be a story told, but I don't know. Oh my God, what? An It Chapter 3 coming out? I thought it was not happening. Wow. Did they just announce it? I know there's a It prequel called Welcome to Derry. There's a trailer that just came out. It's a prequel to the It movies. I heard about that, but if they are doing an It Chapter 3, that's going to be kind of crazy. I wonder if the previous episode, the cliffhanger, will be addressed. I think it will, because they sort of did address it by saying it's been 7 years, but I meant explicitly. I think they will, because I mean, how could you not acknowledge what happened? Like that was just that was insane what they did, and we need answers. We definitely need answers about what happened with Rob. What's going on with that? The void, the characters changing into humanoid characters. Like we definitely need some insight. I still think the 7 year sentence was a joke, and that's a possibility too. We could also be looking too far into it, and it could just be 7 years. Because I mean, think about it. I'm sure you guys have seen Deadpool and Wolverine. I don't know if you guys have or not. I'm sure some of you have. And we get the scene with Wolverine and Deadpool in the bar, and Deadpool grabs at Wolverine, and he sees the iconic Wolverine costume, and he's like, "Well, that only took 25 years to happen." So it could be a joke similar to that, kind of like how we got that. So, yeah. Imagine if they if they bring Rachel back, Tobias' sister. They could. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I thought Rachel and Darwin were kind of interesting. I thought that they were like going to be a couple, but I like him and Carrie better. I think him and Carrie fit better. So I think it worked out for Darwin in the end. I think so. Darwin dating an older girl though. Yeah, because I mean, she was in. She ever say she was in high school, right? I think she said she was in high school. Like when Ferb dated Vanessa and Phineas and Ferb. Yeah. I mean, that does happen in real life. Like, obviously, like, no older, well, that does happen. But no older woman over her high school days is going to be talking to someone that young. I would hope not. That's a problem. That's a problem. If you are, don't do that. You're going to get yourself in jail. Um, but in this case, like with her being in high school and Darwin being in middle school, only 4 years apart, I don't think that's bad. I don't think that's bad. I've seen like high school couples, obviously freshman year, senior year. I've seen that. So I don't think that's bad. I mean, I don't know. I guess it just all depends. But again, obviously you get a certain age and you're old, like much older than that person, then again that's where it becomes a problem. It's like, oh, you're treading on thin line there. You shouldn't do that. Banana Barbera, Hanna Barbera, because she foreshadows the events of the Amazing World of Gumball's future. Hmm. Yeah, you got a lot of theories. You got a lot of theories there. A lot of great theories you guys have. I hope they bring back Tina's father. I think it's a possibility. I think seeing Tina in general would be nice. My theory on why Rob tried to turn everyone into human is because of Gumball characters are characters from other not approved shows on Cartoon Network. If the void swallows every mistake, Elmore is one. Hmm. So you're thinking like maybe Gumball characters were supposed to be in another show, but those characters didn't work out, so now they're just shows stuck within the Elmore world and the void. So it's kind of like a Spider Verse thing where they're the anomaly. Is I'm guessing that's kind of the theory that you're going off of. So they're like the anomaly of Elmore, the anomalies of Elmore, I guess. I mean, like I said, you guys are making some great theories. Why in the synopsis of season 7 it says that they will stop Banana Barbara from putting on pants? Was it Banana Barbara? I thought it was Banana Joe. I thought it was Banana Joe, but maybe it was Banana Barbara. But I know it was Banana Joe from putting on pants. Maybe because that breaks canon, because bananas can't wear pants. I mean, I don't think bananas can wear pants. But in the Amazing World of Gumball, we've seen Stranger Things, which I wasn't even trying to make a Stranger Things reference, but it happened, so we're gonna go with it. But yeah, we're what were we like 2 hours? So I'm probably gonna end the stream. Uh, if you guys have any more like comments, like type fast. Um, I'm probably gonna end like a few minutes. I can't believe we gone like almost like 2.5 hours. Insane. But that's just the dopeness of being able to talk with you guys about the show, and um, I enjoyed it. I really did. I enjoyed this. Ben worked at improving shows on Cartoon Network. All of the characters are based on other people's ideas. These characters are mistakes. Ben threw them all in his show, so the Void tried to swallow Elmore. Mmm. Yeah, Bob, do you do theory videos? Because if you don't do theory videos, you might need to do some Amazing World of Gumball theory videos. You might have something there. I think people would enjoy that kind of content. You seem to be very knowledgeable as far as like the behind the scenes, but also kind of like knowledgeable and coming up with these like ideas that just like work with like the the whole lore of what the show could have and stuff. So Bob, I don't know if you have a YouTube channel or have started one, but I think you should. I don't do any theory videos, but I might start. Go for it, man. Go for it because you never know where that could go. You never know where that could go. As a fellow content creator, I can tell you firsthand, just try your luck. And don't even expect to succeed. Just try your luck at it. Just go for it and see where it goes because you might be the next big thing for Gumball. Your theory videos might have a lot of people coming and saying like, "Oh man, that was a dope theory. I didn't even think about that," or "I could actually see that," or "Wow, I wonder if that's how that's gonna play out." I think that would be really good to do. Just do theory videos on this. So I recommend it. I would subscribe. I really would. I would subscribe to you and just watch your theory videos because you make a lot of great points. So about the Learning with Pibby thing, it's coming out next year, and it's about Cartoon Network Nickelodeon characters fighting a glitch that's corrupted the world from a preschool show. Hmm. Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon. Would that ever happen though? Would they ever do that? I don't know. I mean, Cartoon Network did evade Nickelodeon a couple years ago, and I remember watching that live, and I was just so confused as a kid. I was like, "Wait, what? What's going on? Why am I seeing all these Cartoon Network characters on Nickelodeon?" That was so weird. I didn't know how to take that. And then I found out years later what happened. I was like, "Oh, okay, now that makes sense. Now that makes sense." I'm kind of inspired on making a YouTube channel now. We're all good at making predictions and theories. Hey, go for it. Seriously, go for it. If you guys really want to create content, if you guys are really passionate about it and you want to do it, I say anybody can create a YouTube channel. It's very much possible. Anybody can do it. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of emotional beats and bounds. There's some highs and lows with it. Don't go in it expecting to be a success overnight because I'm definitely not a success. Um, I have a lot of room to grow. I have a lot of room to grow. So when you can go into it with the mindset of not expecting it to be a big thing, it'll work out. You'll appreciate it a lot more. So that's my advice to anyone. If you're inspired to make a YouTube channel, I say go for it, but just don't lower your expectations. Just lower your expectations. You can have high hopes, you can have optimism, but just lower your expectations, and then just go from there. I thought Learning with Pippi was canceled though. It's been it's been it's been continued by fan continued by a small company that is making a Denture movie. I think Deltarune movie. I mean Deltarune. Okay. Yeah, I don't know much about that Learning with Pibby. Like I said, I've heard about it before. I've seen little clips here and there, but I don't know too much about it. But if a smaller company is continuing Learning with Pibby, then good for them, good on them, because I know Learning with Pibby was very popular, eh, very popular. So if they are going to continue it, hopefully somehow it circles back around. Maybe Amazon will get it. Amazon got Has Been Hotel and stuff like that, and I know those shows are very big hits for Amazon. So if they want to, maybe go that route, maybe Amazon buys Learning with Pibby, and they could do that. I think that would be cool. I don't know how they'll do it though with the Cartoon Network thing though. That's the only thing. They would have to do like Has Been Hotel, Invincible, stuff like that. That would be kind of like what they would have to like do the Learning with Pibby thing with. Unless they want to do like Secret Level, because Secret Level is also another one. Because Amazon doesn't really have much animation stuff right now. So I think, something like Learning with Pibby on Amazon, I think would be really good. Because it just adds more opportunity for those like cartoons that started out as indie projects and kind of moving into that. I thought Pibby was produced by Adult Swim though. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't really know much about Pibby, so that's why I have to do research on it. Because if that's the case, I definitely didn't know that. They were planning to make a three-movie trilogy, and Adult Swim stuff is on Disney Plus. That is true. That is true. I wish that we get Space Ghost Coast to Coast on Disney Plus. I mean, you can watch it on the Adult Swim app, but it would be nice to get Space Ghost Coast to Coast, Birdman, all that stuff on Hulu, because I would do a full on rewatch of all that stuff. But change to a series and then a movie. Yeah, yeah, Master Moses. I'm definitely going to have to do more research on learning with Bibby, and then I could, like I said, if you guys want to see a video about learning with Bibby, let me know. I'll try to get that. Yeah, I'll try to work on that. I want the Star Wars Holiday Special on Disney Plus. There's still a lot of stuff on Disney Plus that they haven't added. House of Mouse, they haven't added that. Fillmore, haven't added that. Uh, there's like a couple things on Disney Plus that aren't there. Disney shows. And I'm like, add these, please. It's been years and you still haven't added them. Like, come on, what are we doing? What are we doing, Disney? Come on. But hopefully they do get added. I hope they do. Because if so, I will be definitely doing some rewatches on some of those things. But yeah, I'm gonna end the stream. Uh, I enjoyed chatting with you guys. It's been a great 2.5, almost over 2.5 hours. Great talking with you guys about Gumball. Uh, I really want I really want to see a video from you about East Slater arc. Only videos about this arc are in Spanish. Okay, well, I'll do you a favor. I'll check out East Slater, and then I could maybe do a video for you. I can't promise that I'll do a video, but I can at least look into it, and then we can, I can go from there. You know. So all I'm gonna say is just stay tuned, stay subscribed, because you never know what I might make a video on. You never know. I'm spontaneous like that. But yeah. With that being said, thank you guys so much. Yeah. Okay. Your choice. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, you guys are giving me some like really interesting video ideas to do. So if that's what you guys want to see, then yeah, I would be more than happy to see what I can do. Like I said, I can't promise, but I can look into it. And like I said, you never know. You never know what could happen. So just stay tuned. But yeah, thank you guys all so much for coming into the stream. You guys have been absolutely awesome. Uh, you guys have been absolutely amazing. I can't wait for the wonderfully weird world of Gumball, the Amazing World of Gumball Season 7. Again, this won't be the last and final stream. We'll definitely be talking about it again uh, in the near future. I can't say when, but in the near future, it will happen again. So, yeah, with that being said, thank you guys so much. Also, if you haven't checked out the content, a lot of cool content, a lot of cool stuff over there, a lot of videos. I got an interview. I got some real cool stuff over on the channel. So if you like really dope content, you like the Amazing World Gumball content, check in the description of the stream. I have a full-on Amazing World of Gumball playlist with news and all that good stuff from the past up to now. So I would definitely uh, appreciate you guys checking that out, as well as just the recent content I've made. It's just been kind of cool getting back into doing content again, and just kind of having that opportunity to kind of reach out and talk with you guys. It's just been absolutely awesome. Yeah, thank you. See you soon, Bob. Thank you. Awesome with you being here, Caden. Always great to have you here, Parker. Always awesome to see you in the stream. Kai, bye, man. Yeah, East Slater. Yeah, I'll definitely check out East Slater for you. Bob, I appreciate that. You're number one underrated YouTuber in my opinion. You deserve 10 times more subs. I appreciate that. They say all good things will come to those who wait, so I appreciate the compliment. we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there as soon as whenever it happens. It's just got to be the right time, and it'll happen. New show continuation is going to pick up on the best of where we left off. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's all. Thank you guys so much. Check out the content. As I always say, big love to you all, and peace out.